Good morning, everybody. I'm Greg Gust. I'm business manager of International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 82 here in Dayton. And I'm very proud to endorse Nan Whaley for governor of the state of Ohio. Nan has been a true friend of labor for many years and a front runner in the labor movement. Nan comes from a working class family, and she knows the importance of unions and what it can mean to their families and the union households. She's always stood with union families on efforts around the state, including opposing Senate Bill 5 in 2011 and helping to defeat that. I believe we should have a governor that comes from the working class, that is for the working class. We don't need governors with rich special interests. Nan has already introduced a Workers' Bill of Rights and a jobs plan that prioritizes the rights of workers. And I'll be proud today, as Nan rolls out her One Good Job pledge, to stand with her in unity as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Good morning. My name is Tom Ritchie. I'm the president of the Dayton Miami Valley Afl-Cio, and I've got a long history with our mayor. Nan and I actually worked together for a long time. Probably she don't want me to tell you, but over 20 years. For years, I've seen state government that is looking out for special interest groups, not working families in this state. They've gutted funding to our local communities, attacked workers' rights while giving tax breaks to the rich. They've sold us out for special interest buddies and friends, and this time we're saying enough is enough. Nan is going to be the governor who stands up for working families and working people in this state. That's why it's very, very important that we elect her in November. I'm excited to be here with Nan as she announces her new One Good Job pledge, and it's exactly the sort of leadership our state needs. It's time that our state invests in working families and gives everyone an equal opportunity to benefit from what goes on in the state of Ohio. I'm excited to be here with the rest of my brothers and sisters in organized labor, but especially with the next governor who has served us well as the mayor, Nan Whaley.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Tom, Greg, everybody, it's great to be here today, and I'm really excited to unveil our One Good Job pledge here in Dayton with folks that I've worked with for decades. And so thank you all for standing beside me always, and thanks for your support. I am excited to be here today to talk about the future of Ohio. I think most of us can agree that no matter where you live in Ohio, one good job should be enough to care for yourself and your family. But as I travel around our state, it's clear that just isn't the case for too many Ohio families. I talk to far too many folks who are working full-time but still have to go to the food bank. Our state is about to receive billions of dollars in investment from the historic bipartisan infrastructure bill that I was proud to help pass in my role as president of the United States Conference of Mayors. Meanwhile, it's been widely reported that there aren't enough workers to complete the upcoming Intel project, and that they'll have to bring in construction workers in from other states. As we turn a corner on the COVID-19 crisis, it's vital that Ohio take innovative steps to actually set our state up for success, instead of letting new opportunities just pass us by. The DeWine administration has focused all of its economic development efforts on big ribbon cuttings, almost exclusively in the Columbus area. They're perfectly fine with leaving places like Dayton, Mansfield, or Marietta behind. I'm promising something different. My administration is going to be laser focused on bringing economic opportunity to every corner of our state. It's time we gave every Ohioan the chance to do meaningful work in their own community. And that's why I'm announcing our One Good Job pledge. It's time we take bold action to put Ohioans to work rebuilding our state. If you're willing to work hard rebuilding Ohio, our administration will get you the training you need and access to good paying union jobs through our One Good Job pledge. Now, this isn't easy work, but it's important work. fixing our roads, bridges, and factories, replacing lead pipes, and expanding broadband all across our state. If you're willing to get your hands dirty, we're going to put you to work. Here's how. First, we're going to take real action to fill the huge gap in the workers we'll need to rebuild our infrastructure and other projects. The state of Ohio projected that there will be almost 22,000 construction job openings in the coming years. And that was before the bipartisan infrastructure bill passed and the Intel deal was announced. I'm sure you've all seen the reports that Intel needs 7,000 construction workers, and they're struggling to find them. Now, instead of just hoping this problem works itself out or relying on bringing in workers from other states that won't stick around, my administration will take real action. We're going to invest $65 million in apprenticeship readiness programs. These are programs all around Ohio that prepare people to start a union apprenticeship program. They teach high schoolers or people looking to start a new career the skills they need to succeed. Once they complete these programs, which can include stipends and other wraparound services, these new workers will start union apprenticeships that will set them up for good-paying jobs and benefits. We believe that this investment can train more than 17,000 workers in the first 4 years of my administration. These folks will go to work rebuilding our state by fixing roads and bridges, replacing lead pipes, expanding broadband, and building new factories like Intel. This is how we give the chance to have one good job close to home. Careers like these can't be outsourced to another country, and the projects can't be just completed in Columbus. They are always needed in every community in our state. To double down on this investment, though, we're also going to institute project labor agreements for major construction projects. Requiring PLAs for large state projects will ensure that jobs paid with our tax dollars pay a living wage and lift Ohioans into the middle class, and that there is a pipeline for workers going through union apprenticeship readiness programs. Project labor agreements will make sure that these projects actually bring investment in every corner of our state. I've said all along in this campaign that my priority will be to make your pay go up, your bills go down, and your state government to finally work for you. That's what my One Good Job Pledge is offering. Ohioans don't want a handout, they want a job. If you're willing to do the hard work of repairing our roads and bridges, expanding broadband access, and replacing lead pipes, we're going to make sure you have the training you need to get a job right in your community. And we're going to make sure that these jobs have dignity. By taking these straightforward steps, we can train more than 17,000 Ohioans and get them jobs doing important work in our communities. Now, this isn't as exciting as a big ribbon cuttings and fancy announcements, but it's how we truly make sure that every Ohioan can get one good job no matter where they live. It's time we had a governor from the working class who cares about the working class. I promise to be that governor. Thank you. Do you all have any questions?
How do some of these union apprenticeship programs work?
Well, we see them all across the state right now. It's really scaling them up to have more support to be able to have apprenticeship readiness programs. What we see a lot of times across the state is kids, because we don't have shop class in high school. Ooh, hi. Scary. He's ready for Halloween with that. Kids in high school today don't have regular shop classes, and so they're not ready to head right into the apprenticeship program. So these readiness programs get kids or people wanting to change careers ready to go into apprenticeship programs. There's a great one here in Dayton. Columbus has a great one as well. They're called Building Futures in Columbus. It allows those opportunities, and to really, the $65 million will help build that pipeline, and then making sure between the infrastructure bill and the project labor agreements across the state, there will be a pipeline all the way through for a good paying job.
Right. And then assuming like some of those apprenticeship programs take, I don't know, I'm just gonna make up a number, like a year, I don't know how long it takes.
The readiness programs are 6 to 12 weeks, okay. And then you automatically then earn an apprenticeship, and then apprenticeships for each of the areas defer a bit, but you work and learn at the same time.
Okay, good. So like some of those apprenticeship programs would then sort of move towards...
They move right into the pipeline, yeah.
Okay, good. Okay.
So this is a pretty straightforward plan. It's not hard, it's not complicated. We need to get it done. And instead of what the governor's administration does is focus on the business instead of the worker, we're trying to make sure we focus on the worker so we have jobs with dignity that stay here in Ohio for the long term.
Thanks.
Ms. Whaley, as the previous mayor of the city of Dayton, can you remind everybody, or at least people who are new to this area, especially the Wright Pat area, on some of your accomplishments that you've made since you were mayor of the city of Dayton?
Well, look, I'm proud of the time I had as mayor, and I loved being mayor. I think these guys know that I loved being mayor. Mayor is a place where you get to be visionary about where you want your community to go, but at the same time, you got to fill the potholes and plow the snow, or they'll kick your tail out of office, right? There's not a lot of jobs like that in elected office, and so it was a great honor to serve as mayor. We saw over $1 billion of investment in our city, and you know, one of the few cities in the country that provide high-quality universal preschool for every 3- and 4-year-old. It's a national best practice here in Dayton. And I think my time as mayor, I'm most proud of the fact that the community really went through some tough stuff, but we always came out to the other side stronger than before. And so that's why I love Dayton. It's a gritty, get-it-done city, but we believe even in Dayton and cities across the state that one good job should be enough to provide for your family.
During your first 2 years as the next governor of the state of Ohio, how focused would you be to make sure that Dayton also receives some of the jobs that Columbus, Cleveland are getting currently?
Well, what we see across the state is what we feel in Dayton, right? Is we see only one metro growing, only one community growing, and it's the Columbus metro. And we want to make sure the answer to our young people in this state cannot be, if you want to stay in Ohio, you have to move to Columbus. We need young people in Dayton and Toledo and Marietta and Portsmouth and Mansfield, and you know, making sure that that investment happens across the state is exactly why this pledge is so important. We've got to be investing in all of Ohio, not just one part.
Not to knock the term innovators, we've had so many in our past. Would it be also your goal to make sure that the title stays focused for the next generation, to have the next generation of innovators come up in the Dayton market as well?
Yeah, look, I mean, Ohio built the last manufacturing revolution. We, you know, used to be the place that exported cars. Unfortunately, today we export our college graduates. And we need to make sure that we have the best workers in the world in this state. We need to be giving them opportunities not just in one region, but across the state of Ohio.
I apologize as well. I usually start my conversation with you as good morning.
Good morning,
And I
Chris.
mean that from the heart. Not to sound corny, I really mean it. When it comes to, again, the next generation who are growing up in high school and going to colleges here in the Dayton area, what would be your goal to make sure if they want to stay here and they want to work here, that that goal takes place?
Well, I know lots of folks across the state and that are young that want to stay in Ohio, but they can't find a good paying job. And they want to stay near their family and raise their family with their grandmas and grandpas, and that's part of what makes Ohio so special. We cannot have the only good paying jobs being created in the Columbus region. We have to have it everywhere in the state. The bipartisan infrastructure plan does a big part of that. The state can play a role too by increasing apprenticeship programs and also making sure we have a pipeline with project labor agreements. So the jobs that the state provides from that investment are good union-paying jobs that have a pension and benefits and will provide for a family. Look, this is very personal to me. You know, my dad's a retired iron worker, United Auto worker, and without his benefits and without his good-paying job, I wouldn't have gotten to go to college. And everything I've had in my life is because of organized labor. We need to make sure we continue to build that middle class because that's what organized labor does.
And my last question, if you don't mind, Ms. Whaley, I don't know my history of the state of Ohio that well, but would you in fact be making history by becoming the first female governor of the state of Ohio?
The first female elected governor, yes.
How does that make you feel?
Look, I think I'd be the best governor for Ohio because I have the best ideas and I come from the working class, right? Too often, this state has been run by special interests. It's the most corrupt state house in the country, according to the FBI. And it's time that we have someone from the working class in the seat of governor that's actually thinking about working communities and working families.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you incentivize, space companies to support unions at a time when you're seeing big companies like Amazon, which have many warehouses here in Ohio, trying to stifle, space people trying to form or establish union at those places?
Well, look, we're seeing this Labor Day weekend. I think the point was made by national numbers that organized labor is the most popular it's been since 1965. 71% of Americans want to join a union. And the reason why, I think particularly during the pandemic, they recognize that the corporations weren't going to do stuff for the workers out of the goodness of their hearts. And organized labor protects, and the solidarity of workers coming together to protect their families and a good paying job is key. It works. So I think that's very exciting. Across the state, we're seeing organizing happening everywhere from Starbucks to museums across the state, and we'll continue to grow that effort. But look, as governor, we're going to make sure that when we're investing in economic development deals, that those jobs are high paying and that they provide for a family. There's no reason for the state to be investing in a job where folks still have to be on benefits, for example, because it's so low wage. And that's what we're seeing right now in this administration. The reason why we work is to have pride in the work that we do, but also to provide for our families. And we cannot forget that. And that is what is so key about the growth of Ohio. It should not just be for the sake of the company or the sake of the low-wage job. It needs to be the sake of our community and our families growing and being stronger.
Thanks.
Thanks. Thank you, guys. Have a great one. Oh, you have one? Sorry.
Now we're in the home stretch towards the election.
63 days.
Yeah, how you feeling about that?
I feel great. I mean, we're seeing great movement in the race, incredible momentum. The decision, unfortunately, around just extreme actions at the State House, particularly around women's access to abortion and their health care, has completely fundamentally changed this race. And look, we're seeing women register in record numbers in the state, second state in the country on women registration. And also we're seeing people like, this is too extreme and too far. Ohio is a common sense state. Having a 10-year-old have to terminate a pregnancy by crossing state lines is out of step with everyday Ohioans, and that's what they're learning, is that Mike DeWine is too extreme for the kind of families and communities that we have in this state.
Speaking about DeWine, how do you feel about the debate?
Look, I'm really disappointed in the fact that he won't debate. I mean, I thought we disagree on a lot, but I thought he at least believed in democracy, and debating is a key standard core of our democratic conversation. So I thought at least he was a believer in democracy, and when you refuse to debate, that tells me that you're really not.
So he's definitely not accepting.
Well, no, we're ready anytime. Channel 7 wants to have a debate, Channel 2, we're there. We're happy to go wherever anybody wants to debate. He's welcome to show up.
Awesome.
Okay?
Thank you.
Ms. Whaley, can I ask one more question? And I promise I'll make it really short. What can individuals show, how can they show their support for you? How can they reach out to you
Yeah.
for their donation or whatever?
Yeah, check us out at nanwhaley.com. We're easy to find online. You can see us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any social media you're in, TikTok. But yeah, check us out at nanwhaley.com. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.